Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's Andrew.
I'm Nick.
Oh, dang it. You're over there. Sorry, you switched sides. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. Welcome back to Adobe Office Hours. Nick, today is a very special episode. We do this all the time on the show. Today, what are we doing, Nick?
We are exploring everything about Adobe Podcast. Amazing new tool. And this is a fun one for us because we haven't really zoomed in and specialized in one cool offering from Adobe like this in a long time.
To the Office Hours Podcast.
That's it. It's going to be true crime by the end of this episode, chat. Just know we're going to start giving you career advice. We're going to help you with your portfolio, and then we're going to solve a murder this week on Office Hours. All right, so we do have a very special guest today. If you want to ask questions, this is live. It's live. So ask your questions in the chat. We have Aaron is here, excited to see how this goes. We've got Barbara Wade. Lots of fun. And what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be talking with our very special guest. Then we are going to record a podcast episode live and then show you how to edit it, add music, even use Express to make some cover art, all within the next hour. So I need to stop talking. Let's go ahead and welcome to the show our guest. Hi.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Welcome, Harmony.
All right, go ahead, introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, what you do, all that fun stuff. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Andrew and Nick, and letting me crash office hours. Hey everyone, my name's Harmony. I'm our customer education manager and success manager for Adobe Podcast. I'm relatively new to the team, just started over the summer. But basically, I'm here to help empower folks that are trying to use Adobe Podcast in their workflow and incorporate it in and ensure that they know how to use it. So that's why we're here today.
Yep. And if you want to do this along with us today, you can talk over us or add your own track to our podcast to have this commentary. If you want, you can go to podcast.adobe.com to access all of these tools. And what kind of access do people have? How do they get access? What do we get with our Creative Cloud membership?
Absolutely. So the good news is that if you already have a Creative Cloud membership, you already can access Adobe Podcast as a premium user. So actually, if you head over to the features page, that's going to show you the difference between basically what the free plan is versus the premium plan. So again, if you already have Creative Cloud, you've got premium. And even better, if you're already paying for Express, you also get podcast and vice versa. For free.
Wait, hold on. But what if I have neither of those and I want to try it for 30 days?
So you can sign up for a 30-day trial. And then after that, it's $9.99 a month. Or if you want to sign up for an annual plan, it's $99.99. $99.99.
Yeah, that's sweet. So this is something that if you haven't played around with, go do it. Why not? It's the holidays. Record yourself reading a book and then send it to your family as your Christmas card. And we do have Steven Overturf. Hi, Steven is in the chat asking, please teach me how to start a podcast. Pretty cool tool. So with that, we do have let's just do a podcast. Love that. What are the things do we have here? Because this isn't just do a podcast. There's a lot of other tools here. What other tools do we have that we can explore?
Exactly. So kind of think as Adobe Podcast as 3 tools in one. So in short, Adobe Podcast is an AI-powered audio recording and editing tool designed to help podcasters and content creators produce high-quality audio content. So there's essentially 3 surfaces. The main one that I think you guys are going to be spending time in today, which is Studio, which is kind of that end-to-end experience where you can record, edit, and share an audio recording. Then to the left of that, we also have what's called enhanced speech. Now, this is the feature that this is my favorite feature, I would say. We just launched V2 of enhanced speech. It removes background noise and echo, and anyone can use it. You literally just upload a file, switch it on, and it's as simple as that. And you can upload
really
audio and video.
And it's video as well, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the sound improvement is incredible. We're going to show you that in a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then over here, this is a good place to get started, right? What is mic check?
It's exactly what it sounds like. So basically, you can click start, and then it'll tell you hey, actually your gain it sounds really loud. You might want to turn down your volume, or the distance from your face to your microphone. You might want to kind of reset that just to make sure that you're sounding great before you hit that record button.
Okay, cool. So let's say Nick and I are going to record a podcast, which is going to happen. All you need to do is come here. You can test mic. We're going to click on test mic, and then it should start testing. Oh no,
Exactly.
Why? Is it because it's because my microphone is not set up to the correct microphone. That's the answer.
Ooh, should we check? Let's see.
Hold please. This is my fault, chat.
Let's go find out. How is my microphone placement?
Yeah, Nick, what do you got over there?
Oh, here we go.
Nick's got it?
Yeah, it's working.
All right, Nick, you got it. Nick, hit me with a screen share, Nick, and we'll pop over to you.
Gotcha. Look at us go, guys. Look
Right.
at
A good
us go.
teaching
On the
moment.
fly.
Yeah, welcome to live.
Let's do this. Yeah. Okay, and let's see here. Did we get it?
Nick, screen share?
Yeah, share. There we go.
There we go.
Tell me when you got it.
Okay, Nick screen shared over here. Chat, this is going to look weird for a second, but hold on. All right, here we go. Hold, please. We're doing it live, baby. All right, and Nick, you are good.
There we go. So here we go. Opening screen. Go into start. I have got everything connected. We are all set up and ready to go. Is it coming through okay?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's do the test mic here. How is my microphone setup and placement? Stop the test. And let's see what it does.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I was just doing this wrong is the answer.
There we go. Look at that.
Okay, great.
Turn down the gain.
Okay, turn down the gain, Nick. Turn down the gain. There's a little bit of echo, but it's okay. We can use that to clean up the audio. So what's funny is, chat, if you run into this issue, the same issue that I did, it's because I did it wrong. Easy peasy. So let me show you what went wrong. Sorry, hold on. Nick, let's go ahead. Let's do this. Hold, please, chat. Let's go here. Let's go there. There we go. All right, and we're back. Okay, so what I was doing, which was wrong, is I was going to the mic check and I was trying to like live test it, but I need to talk. So you're gonna click it and then say the button. I should just follow the instructions that are here for me.
It's pretty easy.
Yep. How is my microphone set up and placement? Okay, so it's just one little sentence. There we go. My gain, okay, little too high. I like this is great. This makes me feel great about my setup. So we are now set up to do our own podcast, which is great. Now, before we try plugging it in, thanks, Jess. Thank you. And Andrew, do you have 6 screens running right now? I have 4. All right. So before we let you go, Harmony, I do want to real quick talk about Studio real quick. So I'm going to go to Studio and I believe there are some templates that we can have here that we can kind of just get an idea for what we're going to be creating. So I'm going to click on the Deep Space Podcast here.
Nice.
And this kind of gets you an idea. Can you give us an overview of like what is Studio for those that want to get started with a podcast?
Absolutely. So again, think of Studio as your end-to-end feature that allows you to record and then edit and then share your audio recording. So the cool thing is that you can record solo or with guests. And these templates are a great way of getting started if you're just like, ooh, how the heck do I get started?
What's a structure?
Give me a structure. And maybe I want to include some of our awesome music collections that's built into Studio. So there's some music available to you that's all royalty free and it's curated specifically for spoken audio and podcasts. And then you'll also notice these little placeholders that are incorporated in. So let's say if you're like, oh, I need to come back here and re-record this take, add a placeholder and you can remind yourself to come back there.
That's so cool.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
A simple little timeline to kind of just help you understand how to like build it from scratch, right?
Exactly. And the nice thing too, like I think the real key for me here too with Studio is that as soon as you finish recording, it auto generates a transcript. And then you're just editing it like a text document. So it really takes away the friction of like, maybe I'm super scared to start a podcast because I don't know how to record in a timeline. So this is really the goal of podcast is just to make it as simple as possible to record, edit, and share.
Okay, so you two won't be able to hear this, so sorry. But I'm just going to play real quick so chat, you get an idea of kind of what this is like. So we're going to start at the beginning here, and it will track along and kind of show you as we play this.
The James Webb Telescope is one of the most ambitious missions ever sent to space. It's now 1 million miles away, will help reveal...
Pretty cool, right? And so let's say that I don't want to open with this. I just want to start with in this episode. I believe we can just delete this part, right?
Exactly. Highlight what you want to get rid of.
Delete. All right, let's try again, chat.
In this episode, we'll discuss how the telescope...
How cool is that? That is so handy.
That's great.
So super easy. We do have a question from the chat
Aaron.
for you, Harmony. And I believe we talked about this earlier. Aaron Jones is asking, can I use this transcript to add subtitles to YouTube videos? How can we export the transcript that it's making?
Question.
100%. That's such a good question. So once you've edited everything down, you're ready to get your transcript. In the top right-hand corner, you're going to click on that download button, and you'll see a bunch of different options. You can get the final audio. You can also download a transcript, multiple formats. And then you can also download the original recordings too. So if you want to take those and, put them in your archive, you'll have access to those as well.
Yep.
And this is so great for accessibility purposes too. Throw the transcript in your show notes or whatever you'd like to do with it, or repurpose it, turn it into a vlog, whatever you'd like.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Or even we were talking earlier about like using AI for some stuff, grabbing a transcript, throwing the whole transcript in and being like, hey, condense this down to 1 page, like make it a little short read blog post, right? You can use this to leverage the content that you're creating to create more content. Amazing tool, which we are going to put to the use right now in the very second episode of the Office Hours podcast. We've done one of these before. So let's go ahead and hop in. Harmony, we will send you on your way. Thank you so much for joining us. Chat. She'll be hanging out in chat. So if you have questions, go ahead, drop them in chat. Harmony's going to be hanging out, can answer there. But Nick, are you ready for the first episode of Adobe Office Hours podcast?
I think I'm ready. Thanks again, Harmony. This was awesome. I'm getting the
Thanks,
vibe
you guys.
that most people didn't even know this existed.
Yes.
This is so great.
It's going to be exciting. Bye, Harmony.
Bye.
All right. Are y'all ready? Here we go.
Yes.
If you want to get started, you can go to adobe.ly/ohpod. That is the place that you can get started with Adobe Podcast. And Nick, we are going to be working in our own document here. And let me go ahead and turn off Harmony. Oh no, Harmony's still there. Bye, Harmony. Thanks so much. All right, Harmony's gone. All right. So, chat, we're going to do like kind of a back and forth. Chat, you can choose. Do we want to be on this screen while we talk, or would you rather be on this screen while we talk? You get to choose. We are going to show you kind of what it looks like. So Nick, you are in this project with me as well. I can invite Nick into this project by just going to invite guests, and he's in here. And then I think that I can just hit start recording. Let's find out, Nick. Yeah. Let's see what happens here.
Real quick, you've got a little echo. I just want to make sure it's not on coming through on YouTube.
Do I?
Yeah. I've got you doubled.
Where else would I be open?
Let's see. I know.
Unless you can hear me. Can you hear me through Adobe Podcast?
Oh, no, it happened before we signed on there.
Oh, then no idea.
Okay, let's just go.
No idea. Okay, so sorry. Check for multiple windows.
This is Office Hours.
Sorry.
We are good to go.
And somebody said the working screen, not the floating heads. Okay, so I'm going to, Nick, can you hit start recording and see what happens?
I am in the session. I think you have control.
Okay, great. Yes. Okay, so actually, let's see, Nick, let's see what your screen looks like.
Right
and are you still screen sharing, Nick?
Yes, we are.
Okay, there we go. Here we go.
Take a look.
Wait,
I am in as a participant.
This show's happening live. All right, live. Hold on, wait.
Oh God, we're doing dual screens.
We're doing dual screens. Hold on, we got it.
We want to show you the complete experiment.
Here's the complete experience. This is what Nick's screen looks like, and this is what my screen looks like. So
you
I'm
can tell
in control.
he's in control.
Yep,
I'm a participant.
I'm gonna go ahead and hit start recording and see what happens. All right, so we started recording. Here's my audio is in there. Nick, can you talk?
We are all set, and we are recording on our screen as well.
Okay, I am not seeing Nick's audio coming through.
All right, let's see.
Yes,
how
check
do we
your
do this?
Microphone settings.
We are going to check everything there.
Okay, there. Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop recording and see what happened.
Okay.
Good luck, everybody. It's got a check mark and a check mark. Cross our fingers and see what happens.
What happens when you play it? Can you hear me in there?
It is bringing it into podcast right now. It's processing and transcribing.
Okay.
And then we're going to try it. So chat, we're going to do about like a 10-minute episode and talk about some career advice. We're going to talk about like starting your own podcast, give you some insight on that. And then we are going to edit live here. Okay. Oh, look, we got it. Hold on. Let's listen back, chat.
Oh,
all right. So we
started the transcript.
Started recording. Here's my audio is in there. Nick, can you talk?
Gosh. We are all set and we are recording on our screen.
Nick, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my God. Gosh. Every episode needs to be done this way now.
Okay, this is how we're doing every episode of Adobe Office Hours.
You didn't get levels for me, but it was recording.
Okay, yes. It was recording, didn't get levels. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. All of this is just nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and just scroll over all of this and just click on delete. And boom, all of it's gone.
Done.
That's amazing. All right, chat, are you ready?
just like a Word doc.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Hold
go.
on. Let's add some music. No. Let's go back. Let's do that at the end. Okay. Nick, are you ready with the outline of what we're talking about?
Yes.
All right. You are going to be leading the conversation. Chat, we're going to go back and forth between screens just because it is going to be kind of podcasty. And there's not going to be a lot to look at, but we'll go back and forth. We're going to talk to you about how to start your own podcast. Nick's going to lead the conversation. Nick has a podcast, so I'm going to ask him a lot of questions about that as well. But let's hop in. Nick, do you want it? Chat. You're going to be responsible for this, chat. Start a timer for 10 minutes, chat. Like 10 minutes. Let us know red sirens in chat once we're done with 10 minutes. And then we'll use that time to come back here and edit everything. Nick, are you ready for the first episode?
I am ready to go. I will set the clock as well, just in case. So we are good to go.
All right, chat. All right. Here we go. Let's do it. Oh, I'm so excited.
Go.
Okay, this is so dumb. I'm so excited. Okay, here we go. Start recording. Welcome back to the first episode of the Adobe Office Hours podcast. I'm Andrew Hockrottle.
And I'm Nick Longo.
And on this episode, we're going to be teaching you all about how to start your own podcast. Tune into Office Hours every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time to level up your creative careers.
Ooh, good
music. So you can leave notes to yourself and then I'll just delete it later.
That's a great idea.
Right?
Like cut here or insert movie, music, whatever it is.
Andrew, delete this whole section. Okay, so welcome back to the first episode. We're going to go ahead and hop in, Nick. We're talking about, I think we have 5 different steps to starting your own podcast. Nick, what is the first step or the first thing we want to talk about when we jump into talking about creating your own podcast?
Sure. The first thing you want to do is find your unique angle. Your podcast needs to stand out in a crowded space. So think about what makes your voice or your topic different from others, right? Whether it's your perspective in storytelling or a niche subject that you really are into, whatever it might be, just make sure it's something that you're passionate about and it could sustain the test of time, right? I think a lot of times you see podcasts kind of stop because maybe it wasn't a broad enough topic to continue on. And I'd say, we're going to get into number 3 in a little bit here, but it is the job. You do one and you start it, and most don't continue past like the 2 to 3 episode mark. So just make sure you are picking something that you are truly interested and invested in for the long term.
Yep,
that would
100%.
be number 1.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it needs to be something that like is changing and growing and dynamic, right? I think that like there have been
industry.
there have been like leadership podcasts that I listen to that it's just like at a certain point I'm like, you don't have any more like leadership to teach. Like there's no more things to say, right? After like 200 episodes, what other creative career advice could you possibly have?
I love too, like that I could look back to maybe a year and a half ago at our first podcast episode about AI, and it's almost completely outdated, right? So there's the perfect example of finding something, one that you're passionate about, and then something that's ever changing. Because you're right, there's a certain point where you're like, I think we've covered just about everything, guys. Good night.
Yep. So number 2, we need to find a topic that we can continue to talk about a lot, which is why I love Office Hours, because it really is just about creative careers in general. We have a whole bunch of options for creative careers. And I am going to cut this out real quick, but I do want to do a call out. We do have a special link for all of you. There is a new version of Enhanced Speech. We haven't showed that yet, but we will show it once we're done here. Enhanced Speech is a great tool that you can basically take out background noise. You can really like fix your voice if you have echoes or any of that stuff. And there is a new version, but you have to apply for it. And so Harmony has dropped that into the chat for us.
Thank you,
Harmony. It is just podcast.adobe.com/enhance-speech-v2. You can apply for that and get access. Okay, awesome. Andrew, we're cutting back in. All right, Nick. So number 2, what is the second point that we want to talk about during our episode about creating your own podcast?
This might be number 1 after the fact, obviously, that you've picked your topic and it's something great. You have to invest in a good audio equipment. The number 1 thing I hear over and over again is that people will sit through something if the audio is great, but if the audio isn't, they won't. They'll sit through bad video, believe it or not. But if the audio is terrible, even if it's a video based or an audio based, you want to make sure you're investing in something good. The good part is it doesn't take a lot of money. You can literally get a $30 to $40 USB mic. They have great ones now that are so small that they're almost portable and you can take them with you anywhere. They have wireless ones, which are great as well. So just don't rely on your computer one. And a thing that we do is anytime I have someone who is out of state and we are bringing them on the podcast, I will just send them via Amazon like a $30 microphone that's USB, and they'll use that and have a blast with it.
Yeah, and what's really cool is, again, we just talked about this off the air, but for those of you that are listening to the podcast in the future, enhanced speech is a feature that is included in Adobe Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Adobe Podcast, and it is included in there. It's actually a filter, so if you're recording using Adobe Podcast, you can go back and just add the filter to enhance that audio. It's going to clean it up. Even if you don't have a great mic, it's echoey, or you're just like in a weird room with your phone, still you can upload that audio. You can clean it up using Enhance, which is really cool.
You should also say it's good in case you get an audio file from someone that has been pre-recorded and it's not at a good quality. It will save the day.
Yep, 100%. Okay, so we are probably 5 minutes or so into the episode.
Yes.
Nick, number 3. We're starting our podcast. We got some little audio equipment. We're set up. What do we need to do? We have a topic. We have our equipment. Now what?
Now you just can't give up. You got to do this forever. Sorry, your podcast will never end.
It's true.
Consistency is key. I think this is number one. I've seen the ups and downs of not being consistent with our podcast, and you can see the difference it makes in engagement and in listening. So you want to make sure you are doing this consistently, whether you're releasing it either like a weekly or a bi-weekly or a monthly. Whatever you're choosing, stick to that schedule. I should be listening to my own advice. We are trying to be every other Saturday or Sunday, and we're getting close to it, and it has made a huge difference. So regular updates build that loyal following with your listener, and it really is a way to set a realistic goal. Make sure you have it on your calendar, whatever it takes to kind of do that. The best thing, too, is you can batch and do them a lot in advance, and that's a great feature as well.
Yep, absolutely. And Nick, you talked a lot about your podcast. What is your podcast? What do you talk about? What do you do? Why should we be taking advice from you, right, about starting a podcast? What's your relation to podcasting?
Yeah, so about 11 years ago, I was listening to a podcast called the Deeply Graphic Design Cast. It was what catapulted me to kind of launch into starting my own business and quitting my day job. And a few months later, one of their hosts left, so I wrote to them, and 2 weeks later, I was a co-host, and I've been on it for about 11 years. And a lot of these folks that I'm seeing in chat have obviously been on it as well. But it's a great way to, I think it's a fantastic way to network. It's a great way in with someone too, if you want to meet someone and kind of like explore a little bit more about what they do and who they are as a creative or whatever your topic is. So think of it as an incredible like kind of door opener in a lot of ways too.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. All right. So on to number 4. And if you're listening to this podcast and you want to see the creation of this podcast, you can actually go to Adobe Live on YouTube, search for Office Hours, How to Start a Podcast, and you can see the creation of this episode. There's a bunch of content that you're missing out on because we cut it from the episode. We edited it out. You're getting music. You're getting all kinds of special stuff in the future. But if you want to see the raw audio and the setup of how to edit this using Adobe Podcast, you can go over. We'll put it in the show notes, which don't exist. Who knows where this is going? But if there are show notes, we'll put a link to this live stream in the show notes.
Dude, I have a great idea. Let's make this an episode on the podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to
the Deeply Graphic
Design Podcast Office Hours Takeover episode, where we were repurposing the content that we've already done for something else.
This is called pivoting, folks.
This is pivoting,
right here.
Pivoting. Okay, so number
Next
4.
up.
Let's do number 3.5. Number 3.5 is that you need to be able to pivot. This is something that in I think both of our creative careers is you have to be ready to turn on a dime and go full speed into the next thing, right? I think a lot of creatives are trying to be like a niche or trying to hit a certain thing and kind of banging their head against the wall, that if the wall moves, like you need to know where to go. And I think there's a lot of times that we will be trying to do something and see an open door and ignore the open door to try to like blast through the wall.
Oh no.
I think that like creatives, we have to be agile and learn to turn on a dime and change the format and change the content. try new things, see what happens. That's what office hours has been the entire time we've done it, is kind of what can we do now? What can we do this week? What's relevant? Easy peasy.
It's the definition of it right there.
Definition of it. All right. So number 4, Nick, we only have 1 minute left, so we got to go fast.
This is really important. You got to engage with your audience. You have to make sure that you are building a community. And this means posting a pre-roll or something before an episode drops. This means getting on social media the minute it drops. There's great technology with whoever you're hosting that will get it out there and put it in all of the areas. Ask for people to subscribe, ask for them to submit a question, ask for them to submit to be on the show, whatever it might be. Open the door, like you just said, Andrew, to your podcast and to your listeners. And then it's not just you talking, it's more of a community. So that's the best tip I can give you, 100%.
Magic. And number 5 is to have fun.
Yes.
Make sure that you're always having fun with it. As much as we do in office hours, we still have a blast with it all the time. So make sure you're having fun with it. Make sure
be yourself,
you're connecting with the audience. And if you want to connect with us, you can at Adobe Live over on Instagram is where you can connect, or you can follow us on YouTube. Okay, cut for a little break, and then I'll come back in with some music and then be like, this episode was brought to you by Adobe Podcast. Get started with your podcast at podcast.adobe.com.
We're at 10 minutes.
Perfect. Cool. All right, chat. So that is our episode. I'm going to stop the recording right here, and it is going to upload that recording. It is going to transcribe it for me, and then I'm going to come back here. Thank you, chat. Time's up. Time's up. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
we are going to come back here, chat, and we will edit this podcast, get the transcript, and work through that, add some music, and that kind of fun. We have about 20 minutes left, so perfect. So, Nick, let's go ahead and show off the thing that we haven't shown yet.
Yes.
And that is our... where's the button that I want? There we go. This is the enhanced speech. So we talked about this, and Nick, you created a video earlier that was kind of like you talking in a very echoey room, right? So chat,
yes.
I'm going to grab this audio file that Nick has created and just bring it over here. And we are going to enhance this speech. And Nick, this is a audio file. You can also upload video if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And it would enhance the speech. So let me play this and see what it sounds like.
Are you playing the before
chat.
one?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, chat. This is what it sounds like before. Let's see what happens. Hold on. All right, chat.
All right, I'm testing this outside, speaking on my AirPods through my phone. It's a little windy. There is some traffic, so let's see how this sounds.
So that sounds terrible, is the answer.
Oh, good.
We'll see how this sounds. Awful.
Yeah.
So Nick has, we have enhanced speech by just uploading the clip into Adobe Podcast. Let's listen to it now, chat.
All right, I'm testing this outside, speaking on
And you
my
can toggle back and forth
AirPods through my phone. It's a little windy.
with the
There
blue
is some
button.
traffic, so we'll see how this sounds.
Nick, it's
All right,
pretty
I'm
good.
testing this
Isn't that great? So
outside,
there you
speaking
go.
on my AirPods through my phone. It's a little windy. There is some traffic, so we'll see how this sounds. Will it improve?
It's pretty good, chat. So you can go in and you can upload videos, you can upload audio, and it is going to enhance that speech. And what's really cool is it also is going to be a filter that's available to you. So if you're recording
Yes.
here in Adobe Podcast, you also are able to do it as a filter. And check it out, Nick. Our podcast
Oh
is here.
my
I am
gosh.
so excited about
Bro,
this.
that was fast. That was really fast.
It was pretty fast. Okay, so let's
Good.
do this. And oh yes, Andrew Hawk Rodel, baby, that's me.
nice.
So here's what we're going to do is we are going to start adding things in chat. I'm going to kind of zoom this up so we can get a little bit of a bigger view on it. And let's go ahead and I want to add some music
Go
for
for it.
like the first episode.
Little
So I'm going to
intro.
go in and we're going to click on music. And then I want to do, maybe let's do Heatwave. That just sounds fun. Let's see here. Okay, so Heatwave is up here. It's in the beginning. It's 12 seconds, which is probably too long. But let's see what happens. Are you ready? Let's listen. That's so loud, chat. I'm so sorry. All right, here we go.
I love
Okay, that is like unbelievably. Hold on, chat. It's unbelievably loud because my system is set. Hold on, let's do this. Okay, chat, give me just 1 second. I'm gonna change
Oh,
my.
can you change the volume of it in the recording?
I'm gonna change my volume mixer. All right,
Okay,
there we go. Here we
gotcha.
go. That'll just be easier.
What do the little slide buttons do on top right of the pink box?
Those are
Controls?
letting me control fade in, fade out.
Oh,
So I
and
want
you
to
can
fade this
split.
in, fade out. Ooh, and let's set it as the background, and then it will go through. Let's see what happens there. All right, here we go, chat. Office
Is
hours
it long enough
every
to be
single.
a
Oh wait,
back-
I'm,
s- it'll- might fade out, I'm assuming.
Yep, I'm gonna start at the beginning. Here we go, chat. Welcome back to the first episode of the Adobe Office Hours podcast. I'm Andrew Hawkrattle.
And I'm Nick Longo.
And on this episode, we're going to be teaching you all about how to start your own podcast. Tune into Office Hours every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time to level up your creative careers. Chat, it's so good. Nick, I wish you could hear it. I'm so sorry Nick can't hear it. Chat, whenever we do these, Nick doesn't have an audio feed. And so this is a really funny episode to be doing because Nick can't hear it. Nick,
good question. Can you share editing or
ooh,
not?
That's a great question. I don't think so.
I would don't do it until you're done.
Yep. Let's go through here and let's see here. So we cut out some stuff here. I think we just said like music, cut this. Okay, later. That's a great idea, right? Cut this. I have good ideas. Insert music.
Every
whatever.
other line is Nick saying, dude.
Yep. And there we go. Okay, so welcome back. So let's listen to this real quick just so you can hear like how crazy it sounds, and then we'll cut it out. Music. So you can leave notes to yourself, and then I'll just delete it later.
That's a great idea.
Okay, so literally us just saying crazy things. So I'm going to just grab all of this and kind of scroll down here and find where Nick says, so welcome back to the first episode. That's me. So we're going to delete all of that. And now check out this transition. Yeah, right here. Okay. Pacific time to level up your creative careers.
Ooh.
So welcome back to the first episode. We're going to go ahead and hop in, Nick. We're talking about, I think it's so good. Okay, so cool.
Wow.
If we wanted to, we could clean up this audio. We obviously have very good mics, so we don't necessarily need to clean up the audio too much. But what's cool here is, Nick, there were times I think when I said like, let's cut this out, or there were times that we went off track, right?
Yep.
So I think that I can just search for it here, and let's just search for the word cut and check that out.
Ooh.
It is finding all the places that I said that. And right here, and we're cutting back in. So I do think, where did I start this?
Great.
Right?
Look at that. So maybe that's a good way to be like, stop and go could be your action words, let's say, you know, and you can find them via the search. That's a great idea.
Yep. And I'm trying to find where we started talking about, like, I started talking about like cutting out, right?
Let's see.
So, we had, let's see where we are here. We have a whole bunch of options for creative careers. And I am going to cut this out. Okay, and I am going to cut this out. So let's do that. Okay, so I am going to cut this out. We haven't shown that, here. And we're cutting back in. There we go. And then I just cut back in with all right. So let's see what this sounds like in the transition. It's so crazy how it just like, it's gone. Like it's gone.
Just about everything, guys. Good night.
Yep. So number
great.
2, we need to find something, a topic. Can we filter words like and delete them? I don't believe so, but right here, so we're going to go here and you'll see that there's like a little dot here.
Yeah.
And this little dot, I think, is a pause. Let's listen to that.
That's
creative
like
careers.
extra time, right?
All right. Yep. It's just a little bit of extra time. So what I could do is I can highlight this and copy it and I'll paste it. Oh, okay. It is. Okay. It's doing okay. So no is the answer.
But if you deleted that little thing, will it get rid of the space?
Yes, if I grabbed this, I could delete this piece right here.
Nice.
100%, and it would take out that pause. And so you could take out creative careers.
All
right,
Nick.
next.
Let's say like after I finish one point and before you go, okay, let's talk about the next one. Can you add a really short little music jingle or a little sound effect in there?
Oh, let's do it. Yeah. So I think we said like number 2. Let's see. Okay, so we have. Yep. So number 2, we need to find something, a topic we can talk about a lot.
Oh,
this is this is number 2.
That was
right?
summarizing number 2, I think. So I think number 2 is above there.
Okay.
Right.
All right, Nick. So number 2, what is the second point we want to talk about in our podcast? Here we go. So right here, I can come in and then I'm going to add in music, and maybe we want to do another heat wave. And this
look
one,
at this.
we want to
Transitions.
do a short little transition.
Love that. Ooh, what does it sound like? What does it sound like?
Okay, I'm so excited. So let's see what this sounds like when we're going to number 2.
Great.
Here we go.
This is great.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, up here.
We
have a whole bunch of options for creative careers. All right, Nick. So number 2, what is the second point that we want to talk about during our episode about creating your own podcast? Okay, I did something wrong. I deleted the word podcast. Okay, so we're going to put it in here. We're going to go to music. We are going to do heat wave, and we are going to do transition short. I am going to come in and use this to fade in and fade out. We'll also set it as the background. And let's see what this sounds like when we transition between the two during our episode about creating your own podcast.
This might be number 1. Some of the talking.
Sorry, what was that?
When you hit background, does that like?
Yes, it overlaps it with some of the talking. So if I turn this out, turn this
gotcha.
off, then it's gonna do it. And somebody's saying deleting the podcast one word at a time. Yeah, that's our goal here. And I literally just deleted the word this. Okay, that's fine, Nick. Here we go. All right, let's listen to the transition chat. Here we go. A bunch of options for creative careers. All right, Nick. So number 2, what is the second point that we want to talk about during our episode about creating your own podcast?
This might be number 1 after the fact, obviously, that you've.
Okay, so I had the fade in, fade out, which I actually don't want it to do. I'm just gonna stop. So it was just like a little bit too close to your cut.
This when you went to this might be number 1. Anything after, what was that called that we just did? Inserts or like in between transitions. Was there any other category?
No.
Okay.
Fade in, fade out.
No, when you hit placeholder.
Oh.
Or I'm sorry, when you hit music, you had categories, right? I'm sorry. There you go. Music.
Yes. Music. Sorry.
So what were them? You had down below. You had you picked by theme first, and then by
and then we have backgrounds, transitions, outros, and intros.
There we go. Wow,
there we go.
Gives you a lot of fun stuff.
And yes, great question from Aaron asking, do we have filler word removal? No, great question, and we are going to share that with the team. Thanks, Harmony, for sharing that with the team. All right, chat. Let's go ahead. I'm going to fix this, and I do want to put in here just a little placeholder underneath. So what I'm going to do is we want to just add a tiny little placeholder here. Boop.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, perfect.
Ooh.
Let's do a little bit of music.
Okay.
Let's do megawatt this time,
Sure.
and let's do a little short transition.
Okay.
That's probably gonna be so intense, but that's fine.
So the way you get music in there is by hitting placeholder first?
No, you can just hit music. So we're finding the place we want, and we queue it up here. And then once we're ready, we just play it. I want to talk about during our episode about creating your own podcast.
This might be number 1.
Cool. All right.
There
So
you go.
sure, that's fine.
Question?
Yes.
What does placeholder do on its own then? Like
placeholder is when I'm going through, I can add in notes to myself.
Okay. That's basically it. Okay.
Yep, totally. So let's look for number 3.
And so it won't be auditable at all. It's just a note.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So let's see here and see where this is. Nick, number 3. We're starting our podcast. We got some little audio. All right. Where do we pick up? Do we have a topic? Now what? All right. So right after now what, we are going to add in another music transition. This time I'm going to do bass line. We are going to do short and add in that little transition. It's going to add it in. We are going to fade this in, but not out. And now in our conversation, let's take a listen and see. We're starting our podcast. We got some little audio equipment. We're set up. What do we need to do? We have a topic. We have our equipment. Now what?
Now you just can't.
Yes. Okay. That it's fun to like listen to it and then go back and be like, okay, where do I actually want this to be? Now what?
Especially when it's like editing on the fly by just doing what you're doing. Now it's you so just great.
It's so great. Okay. So here's number 2. Let's go in and let's find, sorry, that was number 3. Let's look at number 4. It's so cool. I love this. Okay. And you'll see here, we have the little call out of like things that we're going to call out or that we're going to cut.
Yeah.
I do want to put in here and
You
have a
can just
little like
tell.
note to myself, right? And have like a little like, hey everybody, this is Andrew after editing. I did want to add a note here, like that little thing. So let's see, right? I love when podcasts do that. Okay, so let me see here.
If you can find a good break.
Yep. So let's listen to this section right here. Yeah. Cool. All right. So on to number 4. And if you're listening to this podcast and you want to see the creation of this podcast, you can actually, you know what? Maybe I don't want to have this in the live episode. Maybe I liked this idea, but I wanted to come back to it. Let's go ahead and delete this. So we're going to come back here and let's see where we go. To take it out. We're going to make it an episode. We're pivoting. All right. And then I come in with number 4. So I'm going to delete all of that.
There we go.
And then we are going to say... okay. Let's see where we are here. Number
Next
4.
So
Let's do number 3.
On to number 4. So
All right, so on to number
next 4.
Okay, so right here is where we want to record. So I think that I can just come in here and click on record, and it's going to record into the space that we are talking right here. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna click record and see what happens here. Here we go. Hey everybody, this is Andrew in the future as I edit the episode. Nick's here too. Hi, Nick.
I'm here.
So Nick, people might have missed a little bit of this episode because we did a lot more talking. And if you want to see the whole live stream, where can people check it out?
It's all on our YouTube channel, right? You can catch it there on Adobe Live.
Yep, right there. So check that out. All right, back to the episode. Okay. Oh,
Wow.
Nick, I love just this like flow of
On
recording.
demand making, right?
Yeah,
here.
100%.
This is so
Like we're
great.
editing this live, and chat. We have like 15 minutes left, but you'll see that like we're editing this live, and we want to like add in a little note. We can just come back in here. Okay, so let's listen to what happens. Here we go.
So think of it as a incredible like kind of door opener in a lot of ways too.
Yep. Hey, this is Andrew. Okay, so right there, I had a weird transition. So what I'm going to do is just add in music right here.
Perfect.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to delete the word yep.
Yep.
I think that it was just like a weird little punch. And then I'm going to add in a quick little music. And we're going to do fuzz, sure. Do short. And then it will add that in. And that way I'll have a nice little cut in and cut out. And then I say, okay, you ever there? Check that out.
Oh,
Let's see.
after
It's
you
on the YouTube
say-
channel, right on Adobe Live.
check it out. All right.
All right. Yep. Okay, cool.
There we go.
So then I'm going to add in another music right here. Let's do Underworld. We're using all the transitions,
Right.
chat. All right, cool. And someone's saying it looks like it missed Nick. No, it just wasn't showing his like live feed through. All right, so let's listen to what we're talking about right here and how we cut in with the music.
Whatever your topic is. So think of it as a incredible like kind of door opener in a lot of ways too.
This is Andrew in the future as I edit the episode. Nick's here too. Hi, Nick.
I'm here.
So Nick, people might have missed a little bit of this episode because we did a lot more talking. And if you want to see the whole live stream, where can people check it out?
It's all on our YouTube channel, right? You can catch it there on Adobe Live.
Yep, right there. So check that out. All right. Back to the episode.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So okay. So right there, I said cool. All right. And I'm just going to do so onto the next thing. So we're going to delete that. And then let's listen with the music transition. Here we go. We're out. So on to number. Chat, it's so good. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool.
I got a question.
Yes.
Filters. Does it do more than just the enhance?
So right now it looks like it is just the enhance. So
I can imagine maybe one day it could do like the like you could do like number 4 and it could like echo it or do something fun.
Right.
That would be really cool.
It's got like official request Harmony. I want
Yes.
auto-tune incorporated into. I want to be able to turn on auto-tune and go yeah, and then it gives me an auto-tune. Okay, so really cool to be able to do a pop in after the fact, and it kind of just pulls it in, which is really cool. Okay, this looks good, Nick. I think that we might.
Do we have a good ending? Should we say something about like, hey, don't forget, watch Office Hours every Wednesday at 1 p.m.?
Yep. Okay, let's see here. So looks like number 5 is to have fun. Got it. Be yourself. Connect with the audience. Love it. Okay. And then here, I think is where we start talking nonsense. Let's see.
Yeah. Love it.
Okay. Cut for a little break, and then I'll come back in with some
It
music.
should just have a highlight harmony that says nonsense.
Yeah. Okay. So this literally it's like, okay, cut for a little break, and then so I'm gonna do this, and then let's see where I talk here. Episode was brought to you. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and delete Nick. Sorry, Nick. I'm sorry.
No,
Sorry,
we're
Nick.
gonna add.
Bye. Oh wait. No wait. I need to delete Nick. There we go. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Cut for a little break, and then I'll come back in with some music, and then be like, this episode was brought to you. Okay, right there. So we're gonna add in music right here, and we're gonna do a nice little music. Let's do one we haven't done. Shimmer.
Introspect will be the last one.
Introspect. This I'm gonna do. Sure, let's do outro here.
Sure.
Okay, so let's see what this sounds like. I'm so obsessed with this. Okay.
Love it.
Okay, cut for a little break, and then I'll come back in with some music, and then be like, wait, I love that. Hold on. Yeah, we're going to leave that. Episode was brought to you by Adobe Podcast. Get started with your podcast at podcast.adobe.com.
We're at 10 minutes.
Perfect. Okay, cool. I'm going to delete this last part, and let's go ahead and add in and re-record our outro. Yeah.
And let's do this basically saying what we used, and we made this whole episode on Adobe Podcast.
Yep, let's do it. Okay.
Let's do it.
So let's cut in.
Ready.
3, 2, 1. This episode was brought to you by Adobe Podcast. And then Nick said something.
I wasn't sure. The way you said it sounded like that was the ending.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Let's go ahead.
No, let's actually have a minute of conversation and just sum it up. And because I'm gonna put this on our podcast. So let's
in
add
conclusion, yes, the audio is gonna be so all over the place.
That's okay.
The music is just different every time, which is kind of fun. And someone's saying bye Nick, delete Nick. Sorry, no, I didn't mean it. Okay, let's
Who
go ahead.
said that?
Yeah, let's delete this take. All right, Nick, are you ready?
Ready? Let's do it.
Here we go. All right, and here we go. What do we want to say? Okay, we'll do it. Okay.
This was a test.
Cool.
We're using it for the first time.
Cool. So this was a test of creating an episode in Adobe Podcast, podcast.adobe.com. Nick, in conclusion, what do we got for using Adobe Podcast?
I think this should make anybody want to try it out. If you've ever wanted to do a cool recording or an interview with anybody, why else would you use this? This is so good. Like this, don't use anything else. This is it.
It's pretty cool. And for those of you that are just listening, Nick was actually just invited to this project, and we recorded it live on the browser, and then we're able to edit the text and the transcript, and then add in all of the music and stuff.
Fun little intros and music.
Yes, seamlessly.
Editing is by far the best thing. If you haven't seen it yet, go back to the Adobe Live channel. We'll put a link into this episode all about how you can see the making of this live and our video, how we did it.
See you on the next episode of Adobe Office Hours Podcast.
Bye.
Okay, great. There was a second where I was talking over you at the beginning that I want to change over.
Yeah.
But we do have 8 minutes left, and I do want to show, if you can go back to the Adobe Podcast website, Nick.
Yes.
The homepage. There is another button. If you scroll down.
There we go.
A little bit more. Where is it? Maybe it's not there.
Oh,
hold on.
Let's
Wait.
see. What are we looking
Wait for
for?
It. Looking for the Express. There was a button somewhere that was go to Express and create art. Hold on. Okay.
Oh.
We're back here. Right. I'm going to cut this out real quick. So I talked over Nick for a second, so I want to cut that whole part out. So this was a test of creating an episode in Adobe Podcast, podcast.adobe.com.
Adobe Express.
Nick, in conclusion,
I think
okay, hold on. Okay, so Nick, in conclusion, and then you started talking, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so Nick, in conclusion, we're going to delete this whole section.
Cool.
Okay, let's see what happens. Creating an episode in Adobe Podcast, podcast.adobe.com. Nick, in conclusion,
I think this should make anybody want to try it out. If you've ever wanted to do a cool recording or an interview with anybody, why else?
Great. Love it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is we are in studio. Looks great. I think that I'm ready, and it looks good. We can go to download, or we can go to share. We can share this as a template if we want other people to be able to remix it, do their own thing. I also can download it.
Share it with me too, and let's see if that. I'm curious to see if that means you can edit as well.
Whoa, I just started getting echo from you. That was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Chad, do you hear that too? I have no idea what's going on. Why that happened? Okay. So we can download it as an MP3 file, as a transcript, all of that.
Wow.
And I do believe that Harmony is saying in studio, we are able to create our graphic design template. So I'm going to download this, Nick.
Yes.
And let's go ahead. I'm just going to get this started downloading so that we have it. And then over here in studio, Harmony is saying going to podcast.adobe.com/studio.
Okay.
Is going to get us there.
Yep.
And boom. So now we can scroll down here. There it is.
Graphic templates.
And we can see graphic templates. Nick, I have a echo of you now, and I don't know why.
Welcome to the club.
Okay, I have an idea of why. I think that it might be pulling through the actual episode now. So I'm going to close this chat and let's see if it
Go for it.
Okay, Nick, tell us.
Yes. Are you there?
That was it. So I was hearing
Oh,
Nick's
it
live
was that.
audio through, which we hadn't heard before for some
That's
reason,
what it
but we
was.
were
so
hearing
you
it.
were
That was
getting
really
a
cool.
monitor of it via that.
So,
Okay.
Nick,
makes sense.
here we went and you just clicked on that aviation and it opened
Yeah.
up in Adobe Express, right?
Look at that.
So-
we got right there.
Thankfully, Nick and I have a whole library of Adobe Office Hours stuff that we could create some cover art very, very quickly. Nick, do you want to throw something together in Adobe Express?
Yeah, let's have some fun here. So we automatically have something here that I just want to change to Office Hours.
Yes.
And it's got a cool image in there as well. I love the vibe of this already.
How can you
Oh,
invite me
cool.
to this document?
Yes.
Like
Get me off
95% because I'm so curious how they're doing the effect that they're doing currently.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a box.
How did
it's,
they match
It's a
that?
full black box with punch out text. That's going to be my guess of how that's happening.
Yes.
But we are going to investigate and then create something there.
Okay,
And
you
chat,
now
let us
have
know if you
access.
are going to be creating your own podcast. And if you are, what is it about? What's your new podcast going to be about as you play around with podcast.adobe.com? Let us know what you are going to be creating as you work with Adobe Podcast. And Nick, I'm here.
Hey, look at that.
Hi.
We got you.
Okay, I'm very curious how they are doing this. Okay, here, got it. No, it's default. Okay, shape. Yep, I was right. So it's shape, and it is in here. It is creating the shape, and then it has the opacity of the shape,
Look
but
at
the text is cut out right here.
Oh, I love that.
So
Check
really
this
easy.
out.
All you need to do to have this effect is click on the text, and then scroll down and go to shape. Put it in fill the entire space, which is like filling the entire canvas, and then do cutout text, and then you'll have the cutout in the background. That's
And
really
look
great.
at that. As he's figuring that out, I'm changing the background.
Yes.
This is the best.
All right, so we have two people talking about, one person talking about creating two podcasts. Aaron is saying, I'm going to make two podcasts, but I need to help with a podcast that will be used for law enforcement recruiting and positive public relations. This has helped me a lot. Awesome, Aaron. So glad you learned a lot. You can always watch the replay. It will live on the Adobe Live YouTube if you want to go back and get more tips. But thanks for learning with us. This was super
That's
fun.
great.
Look
Good
forward
for
to
you,
hearing your
man.
podcast. And Clever saying this may be fun to record boring stories of my life to torture family youth. Yes. And
Yes, please do.
if you are ever like playing around with these new tools, or if you are like at the end of the year, maybe you want to do a little like life update podcast. That's so fun. Instead of doing like a
card.
Christmas card or like a letter, do a little podcast. It's like, hey everyone, welcome to 2024 in Andrew's life, and then do a podcast. That's so fun. I'm going to do that.
You're doing it, aren't you?
That's
I
a fun
can
idea.
tell.
So chat, do that for the end of the year, record a podcast, just recapping your year. And then it'll be a good thing for you to have and really for anyone to have. And I'm actually going to use this with my friends. We talked about like starting a podcast a million times. And
I
maybe
think
we'll actually
that's
do
been a
it.
part of every friend group ever.
Yes. So I have friends with two kids, and I go over on Wednesdays and we order Dairy Queen after the kids go to bed.
Nice.
And so we've talked about starting a podcast that's just called Once the Children Are Asleep, because we have the craziest conversations with these tiny little humans sleeping in the next room, which I think is really fun.
This is great.
And yes, someone's saying a postcard with a QR code to scan that leads to the holiday podcast. I think that's such a fun idea to do a day in review. So Nick,
Oh yeah.
to overview, what did we talk about today? We got 2 minutes left. Let's recap. What did we
Could
talk
be
about
our
today?
most like jam-packed episode ever.
It was
We
a
had
lot.
Harmony on here talking all about Adobe Podcast. Make sure you have checked this out. This is so great to kind of mess around with and play. I think by the surprise of everybody in chat, I don't think a lot of people even knew this was out and existed.
Yep.
We recorded our own episode. We edited it live. We downloaded it. We made cover art for it. And as a fun teaser, I'm going to post this final audio on our Deeply Graphic Design Cast as an episode.
And-
It'll be brought to you by Adobe.
Coolest thing is if you want to go back to it, you have your project saved here. So I can literally click on that project and look,
Yeah.
here's our entire podcast with the transcript all there, loading that audio up.
Share it really quick. See if I get it that way.
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, it's back. It is back. I could tell.
It's back. I can hear it.
Because we're
Okay.
in studio. But
Yep.
share, hit the share button and see what happens. I'm curious to see if that gets it.
Yep. So this is going to create a template that I can then share out with people to share the template of like
So good.
how we have our podcast setup. So if we worked, Nick, I know that you have guests every now and then, that if you had a guest, you could share this template with them, and then it would have the music in there, it'd have the intros, they could just click where they needed to, and then export the episode for you. All right, that's our episode. We'll see you again next week.
Next week?
Not Thanksgiving next week? Not Thanksgiving next week. We'll see you again next week for another episode of Adobe Office Hours. I'm Andrew Hockrattle.
I'm Nick Longo.
Go start your podcast. See you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.